Right after British Prime Minister Keir Starmer officially recognized Palestine, something absolutely stunning happened. The Palestinian Authority immediately came forward demanding reparations from Britain for the period of the British mandate in Palestine. And we're talking about a jaw-dropping sum of approximately £2 trillion sterling. That's around $2.5 trillion, though some Western media sources are throwing around the figure of $1 trillion. Either way, we're looking at astronomical numbers here. I used to be inside one of those major media organizations, watching how they'd spin stories to serve their agenda, and I decided I couldn't be part of that anymore. Now I'm out here telling you what's really happening, without the corporate filter. Look, if you're finding value in this unfiltered analysis, hit that like button and subscribe. And if you really want to support independent journalism that doesn't bow to corporate interests, consider becoming a channel sponsor. It means everything to an independent voice like mine. So what exactly are the Palestinians demanding from Britain? These reparation claims are built on accusations of historical injustices and land losses during British rule from 1917 to 1948. The main voice behind this demand is Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas, who's citing international law and precedents for compensation. Some human rights groups are calling this demanded sum a good starting point for assessing financial damages, though specific organizations aren't being named in Western sources. We're looking at more of a blanket demand from the administration and expert circles. But here's where it gets interesting. The British government has already declared that recognizing Palestine doesn't create any financial obligations, and they're calling these demands anachronistic nonsense. Legal experts are pointing out extremely low chances of satisfying such claims, citing sovereign immunity doctrine, the massive time gap, and the lack of direct legal connection between Britain's historical actions and the current situation. Despite the legal weakness of these demands, the political significance is enormous. This isn't really about collecting money, it's about creating pressure in negotiations and international dialogues. The Palestinians know exactly what they're doing here. They're using Britain's recognition as leverage to push for broader concessions and international attention. Now, let me break down the numbers for you because this is where things get really wild. We're talking about £2 trillion, or $1 to $2 trillion, being thrown around as a symbolic figure that actually relates to the size of Britain's entire economy. There's no legal breakdown, no itemized list of damages. This is purely political theatre, but effective theatre nonetheless. The demand is coming centrally from Palestinian political leadership, specifically the Palestinian Authority. While there's been mention of 3 separate Palestinian human rights organizations in various media, the concrete data about their individual involvement in the last 24 hours isn't clear. This is being pushed as a centralized political move. Here's what's really happening behind the scenes. This massive reparations demand becoming public discussion immediately after Starmer's statement isn't coincidental. It's calculated political timing. The Palestinians are testing the waters to see how far they can push this newfound diplomatic recognition. But let's be realistic about the chances here. British courts or international institutions actually enforcing payment of these funds? Practically zero. The legal hurdles are insurmountable, and Britain's not about to hand over an amount that could cripple their entire economy over historical grievances from nearly a century ago. If you're still with me on this analysis, drop a comment below. What do you think about these astronomical reparation demands? And don't forget to subscribe for more unfiltered coverage of these developing stories. What we're witnessing here is diplomatic chess at the highest level. The Palestinian Authority isn't naive. They know these reparations will never be paid in full, but they've accomplished something significant. They've put a price tag on historical injustices and forced Britain into an uncomfortable position right after extending diplomatic recognition. The timing tells us everything. This wasn't years in the making. This was a strategic response designed to capitalize on momentum. Starmer extends recognition, and boom, here comes a £2 trillion bill. It's political leverage disguised as legal demands. So we have Palestinian Authority leadership making symbolic financial claims that serve as negotiation tools rather than realistic expectations. Britain's calling it nonsense. Legal experts are shaking their heads. But the political pressure is real and immediate. The Palestinians have successfully shifted the conversation from simple recognition to the broader question of historical accountability and financial responsibility. Whether you agree with the tactics or not, you have to admire the strategic timing and the boldness of putting such massive numbers on the table right when Britain thought they were making a simple diplomatic gesture.